Hello, everyone. Starltros here, bringing you back news for FFBE JP once again for this little maintenance and new units we're getting. And joining me today is a returning guest. We haven't had a guest here in a long time, so Mr. Beardeh is joining me once more. Say hello.
Bonjour.
Oh my goodness. Bonjour, ça va bien?
No, that's my limit.
That's all right. I figured I was pushing you a little bit. So, are you excited for the unit we're getting today, Mr. Hyo and Panthera Ultimus? Or I think they called him like something. The name was different in Japanese, wasn't it? Oh
I
yeah, I
didn't
see it
even
here.
know.
Sorry, it's Black Raider. Yeah, they call him Black Raider instead of Panthera Ultimus. But yeah,
Yeah.
a global port unit, and usually what's the thought with those? Straight to the trash can. Just want to say right off the bat, this is not the case for this one, as we're gonna look over in a couple of seconds. But what?
Not the case. Not the case indeed.
And like, I think it's by a far margin the best unit we've had in a while now. Like they keep pushing, not the meta, sorry, the power creep like stronger and stronger. But this one's leaps and bounds over the others. I feel so. We can start looking at the kit. But what did you think when you first read his kit?
If do you want me to be honest, I was a bit emotional. To be fair.
Yeah, I can understand that.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
joking. I know I'm joking.
but I mean, after seeing Ibarra and then, like being pretty weak, and Elena, being useful at times, but not quite what she was in global. It's good to finally see a global unit that's gonna pull some solid weight, and I'm really really happy to see it. And a little scared, I have to admit, because if he is doing this, what's next week gonna bring? You know.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised myself. But you saying you're quite happy about it, you're going to upset the locals, aren't you?
You know what? I don't mind. It's okay. I'm safe in the ocean. I can run away whenever something goes wrong.
No, but I was of the feeling that like this unit, it's not really a global unit, inverted commas. You know what I mean? He's a genuine FFBE story unit. You know what I mean?
That is true. That is true. But they did cover some other, FFB units on global that weren't like global original units that were still FFB units and didn't really push them out that crazy. Like Cleome, like the Lunar Festival Cleome or something. Like this one was bad. And technically she was.
The majority of them have been bad.
Well, I mean, we haven't gotten her on JP, but on global she was pretty bad. This one was really good on global and is really good on JP as well. Um, so would you say we jump into the kit and go look?
Yeah, sure.
So first things first, I just want to cover the categories. So we have lightning, fire, and dark for his elements. I was expecting fire because that's what he had as his main element on global. He also had an imperil field for ice to go with frost lord along with it. Now he doesn't have that here, but he's got lightning because that's very meta, and dark because why not? So maybe he can push a dark team to some stronger limits now. The rest, classic FFBE. But then that's where it gets interesting. We got Rebellion, Gathering, Elite Soldiers, Saviors, Sword Masters, and Transcendent. I called Transcendent on Discord. People told me I was wrong. Here it is. Uh, just wanted to point that out. But also, I probably mentioned some other things for which I was wrong, so feel free to point it out in the comments. So, what do you think with that solid array of categories he has?
The two things that stick out to me is one, he's going to be easy for leader skills, and he's covered by a lot of overdrives.
Hmm. Definitely. Like, for example, we had Laguna not last week, but the week before, who was super hard to fit on a team because he only had elite soldiers and then his elements. Well, then we got this one who's super versatile, um, and he's going to be fitting in so many not leader skills, but overdrives as well. So that's really really interesting. I'm really excited to see those categories on a new unit. That's really refreshing to see. He basically has all the good ones. Um, is there anyone that's missing from there actually? Like he's not a flower of the battlefield, obviously, but otherwise, what's missing?
Guardians.
Oh, you're right, Guardians, which is also a pretty strong um category right now. But having Rebellion
Yeah,
there and Saviors is pretty good, and Swordmasters as
and
well to
he's
go with Lightning.
and he in Gathering. He's definitely going to be carrying the Gathering teams.
Yeah, you know, for all of these people, I know you did it only recently, but I still haven't done the 8.5 anniversary Grace Rush with the Gathering team. So I think he might be pulling his weight there because if I do get him, he is going to go and crush them pretty easily.
Yeah, and, and he's also not got Harbingers of Chaos.
No, that's right. That's when I was expecting him to have because Hero was a villain for a part of season two, but since it's just rain and he was pretending, I guess it doesn't count, and it's fine. But that tag is still mostly reserved for the SBB units and the Arden to be the leader so far anyway. So now we can look at his TMR. TMR is something that is completely uninteresting. You're never going to use. It's only 50% attack, some resistance to fire, lightning, and dark, and also some double hand. So that's just like until you get the STMR, and once you do, well, then go straight to the trash can, unless you really have like a lot of space and you want to give them the Dark Vision Greatsword instead. And then you really want to activate his Trust Mastery ability by giving him just his TMR. Then the STMR, just like in Global, is a fist, two-handed weapon with a 75% killer to beast and dragon. So that's pretty good. Um, he also,
They've actually increased the attack stat from the global one as well.
well, I mean, I sure hope so. It's been what technically, if if Global was still following, it's like 4 to 6 months behind. So you need to raise the stats a little bit. Like that unit's been out for over a year now in Global.
Well, the global attack stat was 236, which isn't that bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've kind of stagnated with those, right? They don't really have anything over like 250 or two. That's like usually between 200 to 250, and kind of stays in those water. Um, instead of pushing the LB modifiers and pushing the Imperial Fields and everything, they could push the stats a little bit on the weapons instead of everything being all the same. I feel like it'd be more worth chasing some equipment, but maybe it's me.
They've took the machine killer off it as well.
The Machine Killer? Oh, there was Machine Killer on it?
Yeah, the global one had beasts, dragons, and machines.
Ah, I see. Well, you'll see later on the kit. Well, you've seen on the kit that he's got something for machines, though, included somewhere in there. So if we look at his vision card now, still nothing really impressive, but it's a 150 base attack instead of being just 130. So it's getting somewhere. It's just not good yet. Um, and then the usual no LB damage somehow, but you're never going to be using this unless you don't have all the premium cards you could want by now. So probably more recent refugees, but most players will never use this. And then the overkiller for him at EX3 is for plants. Now, do you remember? We already had plants, right? Like a week or two ago. I'm not crazy, right?
I couldn't say for sure. But just while you're there, after going up thinking, I was thinking about the vision cards there, and another tag come to mind. He doesn't have royal arms either.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
Which, to be fair, having royal arms would have been feasible,
Well, considering he's rain, but he's
and
rain in disguise.
he is the king.
Oh, that's the rain that goes to become the king.
Well, they all became king, don't they? Because the
Well, yeah, all versions of rain have had the royal royal arms, but not this one because he's wearing a mask. He's aptly disguised, and we don't know it's rain just yet. Anyway,
Well, apart from the blonde hair coming out the back.
hey, there's a lot of other blonde characters. Okay, Fina's not rain. Well, yet anyway.
Yeah, and she's female as well.
Did you just assume her gender?
No, it says on the wiki, gender female.
You're right. Okay, fine. It's extracted from
Come on,
the game's file. It's fine.
stop trying to trick me, young man.
I just want to catch you. All right, let's go look at the rest of the kit. So, one thing important to note here, he is a trans shift unit. Do you want to explain a little bit what trans shift unit is? Because we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah, trans shift's bad. That's what it.
Yep, that is correct. Very well, very well summarized. So it's a limited duration
Yeah, so it's
break shift,
duration, so
unfortunately.
it's available from turn one. The cooldown, so you're getting 4 turns from it, and then cooldown to normal is 4, and then when it goes to normal, you need to wait 3 turns to get the brave shift back.
Hmm. So, unfortunately, even though his shift form is stronger, you won't be able to use it the entire fight. It's a little bit like Tank Rain. Like we've all had those moments where in a fight he would just turn back to his regular form. We're like, oh, but I'm not done dealing damage. Well, it's gonna be the same thing with him. So, but don't worry, his base form is still very usable. Like there's a lot of damage in there as well. It's just not as good. In terms of equipment, he can barely like he can basically equip everything. Like short swords, swords, great swords, fists. That's those great swords and fists are the things you're gonna want on him. All the rest, God only knows where they're there, but they're there. And then he can equip every equipment, so that's very nice. Now for his kit, I don't know if you want to cover, say, the base form, and I cover the shift form. How about that?
Oh, what do you want me to do?
Well, or do you want me? I'll do the base form, and you can point out the differences with the shift. How about that?
Yeah, we'll just go through it together. That's fine.
All right. So at
You're
EX,
you're the you're the expert after all.
me, the expert, I'm just winging it. I've just been winging it for longer, is all.
No, you should have let me sleep for another couple of hours, then, shouldn't you?
No, you don't get sleep. You go sleep when I tell you you can.
Yes, sir.
I'm a harsh master. Ain't I?
Crack that whip.
There you go. My tentacles are clacking. So at EX1, our little friend is getting an Imperil at 200% for 3 elements. Is 3 elements himself. So that's very, very good having that at EX1. Then at EX2, he's going to get the 500% LB damage buff and also a 300% amplify for his 3 elements. I believe he is the first one to have all elements with the big amplify. Do you think that's correct?
I think so. Yeah,
Because all the
but
others were either only 1 element or just 2 and then leaving 1 in the dust, right?
the downside is he obviously needs to wait to EX2 to get his 500% LB buff.
Yes, unfortunately. But you're gonna want him at EX2 as fast as you can because that 300% amplify is no joke.
And also for the other things that we'll come to.
Yes, when we go to the passive sections, we're gonna have a lot to discuss when we get there. You're right. So for the rest of the kit, it's the usual, the LB mod buff, his element chains. He also has a tag chaining ability here for 1100 times, well, 11,500. Wow, I'm gonna make it 11,500 times modifier. Um, and yeah, it's a tag chain ability. So that's pretty strong. It's kind of in line with his. Well, no, it's not in line with his LB at all, but it's in line with the meta in terms of those chaining abilities. Let's say it that way. Um, the modifier buff for it here is also attached to an amplify for all 3 of his elements at 100%. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. He can only cast it from turn 3, unfortunately. Um, but you're going to want to start with the LB anyway, as we're going to talk about a little later. He also has a break at 85% for all stats, which will also fill his LB gauge, and it's a tag chain as well. So if ever you need some tag chaining or some backup breaking because the boss has dispelled, or before the boss dispels and you want to use the big breaks, then that's going to be pretty handy. And he just needs like one turn of casting this and a little bit of autofill, and he's going to get his LB basically every other turn. And being a shift unit, you can just use this LB as many times as you want. You don't have to wait for a pesky SLB. And then last but not least, in terms of his
But then
active,
you're probably going to be trying to fit it in when you can shift them as well.
yes, you're right. Like it's gonna be dancing around when he goes to shift, when he is back to base and everything. But I think this is still in his shift form anyway. Um, but I guess if you really want to optimize everything, you could have a dedicated LB filler for him, so he doesn't have to do it himself anyway. That used to be a strategy back in the days. It could still be now, with Lightning that's so good at filling the LB, or Lost Nation Rain as well. It can do it. It can do it while giving some pretty good breaking and some other options for fields too. So kind of weird to say like we want to use a DPS as a support unit, but that's the world we live in now. And his last active ability here is something that will increase 100% resist to fire, lightning, and dark to himself only. But, and that's the ticket here, an Imperil Field for fire, lightning, and dark at 75%. So three elements, 75% right off the bat. Like, we don't even have a 75% Imperil Field for all elements yet. And here we are, Fire, Lightning, and Dark, which all already have a 75% Imperil Field, are all attached to a single unit now. What do you think of this?
That's pretty good. It's kind of sent Snowblinker and Fang to the bench.
Yep. Goodbye. Goodbye, Fang. We're never going to use you again. If we ever used you, goodbye, Snublinka. We're never. Well, maybe Snublinka can still be used because of her 200% amplify for herself and somebody else, and the killer
Yeah.
sometimes.
The big downside to it is the cooldown on it. It's a 7 turn cooldown.
Oh,
Usually
you're right.
usually field usually fields are 6, but this is a 7.
You're right. So it's a little longer for him to be able to cast it again. Hopefully, if ever you're doing a trial, you need some off turns to, restart and reapply something between a fight and another. So you get, when you start another fight, you can cast it again. And mm, you don't usually go all the way to turn seven to turn five on any fights, unless it's stupid Leviathan, because you need to wait until turn five before you can damage it. Um, but he's the outlier.
Yeah, and obviously you've got the multi-wave fights that you have to just pay attention.
Yeah. and
But obviously you get your cooldowns from the next wave anyway. So
exactly, it comes back at every fight. And the only other place where it could matter, I guess, is Dark Visions. And if you go past turn 5 in Dark Visions, you're not going to rank very high. So,
yeah, you, you,
tough
just,
luck.
you deserve to be you deserve to be dead.
Yeah, why did you survive past turn 5? All right, now let's look at the most interesting part of his kit here because this is something new that we haven't had. Do you want to say what it is?
Now these extra modifier buffs.
Oh, I think I might have lost you here. So what do they do, those modifier buffs?
Yeah, so they're getting extra LB modifiers for the EX levels.
And if you notice, they're all different names, which means that they can also stack. So we have at EX1 a first one, at EX2 a second one, at EX3 a third one. And if we keep looking down as well in the rest of his kit, he also has the usual at the start of battle that everyone has nowadays for the other extra 100. And it's that's not all. Well, for the base form, that's all. Sorry. So if we go look, the first one at
And
EX.
those, it's another thing, those modifier buffs, if he dies, they come back if he gets revived as well.
You're right. You're right. Those are at the start of battle. on revival and after Brave Shift, and they're for 900, well, basically 9999999 turns. So they stay forever, and if you die, they come back. So this is a forever buff. So you have at EX1 a 50 times modifier, at EX2 a 75 times, and at EX3 another extra 100 times, on top of the 100 that you get for the first 5 turns, and the 120 that you can cast with his cooldown ability. So that's all together 200, 325, 445 extra modifier to his LB that he can
and,
get.
and then and then once we go to the brave shift, you'll see something else.
Yes. But first, let's look at the let's finish looking at the base form before we go look at the brave shift. So the rest here is something extremely interesting. Once again, he has Enfaraga and Thondaga and Darka to imbue all three of his elements to his team. Um,
Well,
so
the global version had Enfaraga, so it makes sense that you got them.
yeah, and I mean we need to have more imbue well, like versatile imbues on units because they all have like 3 4 elemental tags, but they can only ever imbue one for the team, and you kind of have to use this one specifically. Um, Otherwise, you need to bring somebody else to take care of it. Now he can make it so that the team can use any elements he wants them to use. He's a good team leader basically. Now, in terms of leader skill, he has a 1500 percent modifier, not modifier, sorry, stat buff for attack and magic. For elite soldiers, so it's not a dual category; it's only elite soldiers. Um, so I guess this is probably going to be the new flavor of the day. Start with him. We're going to see the next units we'll see later if they also follow suit. But Elite Soldiers is also a pretty good category to go with in Fire and to go in Thunder. So I think it's very well fitting. Now for his LB. As you can see, there's only NV and NV Plus because he's a shift unit. We're not used to seeing this. That's why I just wanted to highlight it. Um, Sadly, it's only 5 hits, but it will break attack and magic by 90% to all enemies for 3 turns. It will also buff attack and magic by 400% to everyone on top of that, in case you didn't have anybody else to do that buff. And it will also give 50% mitigation, like general mitigation to the entire team, which is always good. If you're not using, say, I guess a dedicated tank, Celeste or Lunafreya, to mitigate for the team. And then his damage, we said that was 445, so that would make it 1725. Yeah, quick math. So
Ouch!
1725.
Ouch!
That is very high compared to the other units we've had before. Like that's a huge jump, and that's
Uh,
only his.
and and it's AOE.
Yeah, yes, and it's AOE. That is true. So, if you haven't finished your Road to Glory, he might be your best friend for that. You just have anyone chain, and he's gonna destroy the enemies with that.
You'd probably be your best friend in Road to Glory for the next couple of Road to Glory.
Oh, for sure. You're like, if I get him, like, it's gonna make all Road to Glory so much easier because it's always kind of a headache, to try and bring an AOE unit, because most of them are weaker or they don't chain properly together, or you don't really have any because there's not that many anyway. So very happy to see that. And 1700 times is very, very good. Sadly, it doesn't chain, but you just bring out the chainers and you throw them in the middle and it's gonna work. So that was
Or
the. Oh yeah.
you use him in shift where he can chain.
Yes, and that's where we're gonna go now. We're gonna go
As we'll
see.
go on to that.
So the shift form is where the real game starts. So most of the kit is the same, nothing different here. What he does have here slightly different is some mitigation abilities. So a 30% mitigation, well, for physical and magic damage from humans, and also from machines on a different skill. And it also gives 50% general mitigation on top of that. So if you didn't use the base form LB for mitigation, this will do the very same thing. So you don't want to use the base LB just for the mitigation. You want to use it for the breaks, if anything. He also has this cooldown ability available every 2 turns to fill his LB gauge back to full. So as I was saying, you could use this in base to refill his LB gauge. Well, you don't need to in shift. If you want to refill his LB gauge, it's free every 2 turns, which is you fill it and then next turn you use it, and then you can fill it again and use it next turn. So he's very self-sufficient. He also has an on-demand perfect dispel for all enemies. And he can also remove those pesky breaks that those dark visions and abyss bosses like to put on you, to
But to
himself
be fair,
only.
you're not going to use that at all in shift.
Why would you? Oh no, you're right. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
It's because
Because of the cooldown ability. Yeah, I remember. Not the
no,
cooldown.
see,
Sorry, the passive ability. Yeah. So we're gonna go look at that actually, the passives for him, because he has the field as well, just the same thing. Now, in terms of the passives, he has the same as the base form. What he has that is different is, well, first this and that here. So two different passive abilities that are cast at the beginning of battle, but also this one here that is cast every turn. So let's go look at the first one. This one here because it starts with Sekai. So this one is, the classic all killers for himself, and also Greatsword and Fist in peril at 40% to all enemies. Second one here, and this one's the very important one. Increase LB modifier by 300 times to caster for his shifted LB. So if you start him in the shift form, what does that mean, my friend?
I think it's a 2025 modifier off.
Not quite,
Is it
because
not?
if it's on turn one, you won't be able to cast this for the extra 120.
So it's just 120 off that, yeah.
Yep, so it's actually 1905 times modifier on turn one. So obviously,
That's that's what I get for listening to people in Discord.
oh, what did they say? Did they say 2000?
Somebody said 2025. I didn't work out myself because I'm very lazy.
Well, see, no, that makes sense if they added everything together, but they probably didn't take into account that it's only for 1 turn. Because this one is not something that's cast every turn. It's only at the start of battle. So you want to start him in shift if you want to go for an OTK, like a first turn kill. You're gonna bring somebody else to imbue him, give some buffs if you need, like stat buff, and probably amplify. Yeah, not you
No,
probably
you're not.
don't
You're
even need
you're
the
not.
amplify. Yeah,
You're not imbuing him in shift mode. He's got the LB change.
you're right. Well, he's very self-sufficient. Just bring a breaker then. He's gonna make your day. Oh yeah, because he also has a 400% attack buff on himself and 300% LB damage buff on himself with the start of battle and shift. So yeah, he just needs somebody else to take care of the breaks, and he's good to go.
Yeah.
A- And
Even
last,
even still, he's got an 87 on his shift LB defense break. So you don't even necessarily. Obviously,
yeah,
obviously a bigger break's going to be better.
it depends on what you're tackling, I guess. But yeah, you're right. The 87% could be good, but you sometimes you need that extra oomph from like a 90% that would help you finish the fight in 1 turn.
But all in all, he's going to be the first turn kill king.
Definitely. Like, if I were Senzar, what I would do would go and make a slew of videos of him destroying the the latest trials, just like OTKing everything, like he used to do when a new unit just released. I like he did when that unit released on global. Actually, maybe I will.
The, the, the cool thing wasn't global. He didn't even need a chain with him.
Yeah, he had tag chains. Sadly, he doesn't in this version, so I'll need to pull him on both my accounts and use my own to chain. We'll see how that goes. And then last but not least in his kit, he also has this is the ability that's cast every single turn. So it gives 150 human and machine killer to everyone, every single turn. So if you get the spell, it gets reapplied every turn. I don't know how many more times I will say this, but I will stress it as much as I can. And also, he increases all elements, physical and magic damage to everyone by 100%. So you don't need to have any more amplify, unless you want to have, a really strong one for a big burst. And last but not least, the reason why you said we are never going to be using the debuff, the break removal, is because with this unit, with this ability, he removes all debuffs from everyone every single turn. So you're never going to keep a break on yourself unless the boss casts it and attacks you after on the same turn.
So basically, you can go and laugh at Leviathan now.
Well, he can still petrify you. No, no,
Yeah,
that's
but
not.
I mean, yeah, well, yeah, status ailments it doesn't remove, but
Yeah.
his 300 in peril is just
Oh,
gone.
you're
Bye.
right. Oh my god, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, he's gonna be so much easier now.
Yeah, and because you don't have to waste someone's action doing it.
That is true. Yeah, no more dispel force. Yeah, this unit is crazy. Like, if you didn't understand that already from what I said at the beginning of the video, like this is a must pull unit. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this.
I think the word you're looking for is broken.
Maybe not broken. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what comes next week to come and just power creep him again. But if you were to ask me, this one is a must pull unit. Like I wanna get him. I hope everyone gets him so I can use the friend units as much as I can. It's like a quality of life upgrade in terms of a unit. And now to finish up on his kit here, if we go if we go look, sorry, a little Freudian slip here. He does have the LB that can switch elements, so he's got dark, fire, and lightning. Obviously, his three elements. As Beardeh pointed out, he's got the 87% break for defense to all enemies. But he also has 180 imperil for the selected element, and also a 60% imperil for greatsword and fist, which all comes before the damage. So you never have to worry about the greatsword or fist imperil for him, which are the weapons he's going to be using. And if you send him first in the chain, he can take care of it for your other chain or other units as well. Say if you're not using any other 60% weapon and peril units. So that's
I
extremely good.
mean, he doesn't have an SLB, but that's SLB level.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, with everything it does, and that's probably why to balance it out a little bit, he is a trans shift unit.
Well, he was a transhift unit in global as well, so I would imagine that'll be why they've kept it like that.
Oh, was he? I didn't even remember.
Yeah, he was trans in that as well.
Did he stay in like after shift? Did he come back to base form for like only one turn, maybe?
No, I think it was the same cooldown.
Oh,
I'll just double check.
okay. Let me just go and boot up my. Oh wait.
No, sorry, I'm lying to you. I'm lying to you. He was through brave shift in global.
Ah, see, for once, I'm not the one spreading misinformation.
Yeah, shoot me now.
No, I won't do that. I need you for another video later. You just won't get dessert. That's all.
Oh, that's quite disappointing because if he was true brave shift here, he'd be just like, ooh, wow.
Yeah, like there would be no reason to ever use the base form, I guess. And then in terms of damage,
The only reason the base form really would be the big attack and match break.
oh yeah, I guess so for the 85%. Oh no, the
No,
90%.
it's
Yeah, yeah, with
90.
the LB. Oh yeah, I guess so.
No, I mean, you could if you were doing a longer fight, you'd probably just go straight in with that LB off the bat, wouldn't you?
Yeah, to start the fight, you get a little bit of mitigation, you get the breaks, and then you shift him, and you start, just chipping away at the enemies with his AOE once again, chaining LB. That's bolting strike chain, so it's gonna be easy to chain with just about anyone. Well, I guess AMOE has been more popular lately, hasn't it?
Well, it's bolt and strike, isn't it? It's shift.
But it should be fine. Like anyone by now is able to chain like two bolting strike and an AMOE or two AMOE and a bolting strike to somewhat a satisfactory result. Um,
Well, you've got units with bolt and strike, haven't you? You've got lost the Return of the Lost Nation Rain. His is bolt and strike.
he does, yeah.
Uh, Fina's is bolt and strike.
Probably, yeah, she's a mage. I haven't used her once actually, so I don't even know. I know Fang
Well,
as well for someone that nobody else has ever used either is a bolting strike.
yeah.
But yeah, that would be it. Covering for Hyo. His shift LB actually like is the same as his base LB in terms of damage. It's just that um, if you use the turn one LB, it's 1900 times because it is 400 and no, sorry 345 325 plus another 300, so 625 you add on to that. So it is 1905, which is crazy
It,
levels of damage.
it's going to be painful for them.
Hell yeah. I wonder if he might be the unit that could go through Leviathan. I wonder, like, completely ignoring his mitigations. I might give that a try. I'm just curious.
Are you going to give that a shot? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely give that a try off camera, and if it works, I'll show you guys. Now, for the other unit we are getting, this actually is an old unit which is getting a NV Plus Awakening. Did you have that unit, Mr. Dark Knight Dwayne, on JP?
No.
How disappointing. Neither do I. Because he was, I think the people said he was distributed through a special event only in person, so obviously only in Japan, which means plebs like us couldn't have him. And also, it was released when you weren't even playing GP, right?
Probably, yeah. But I'm not disappointed because well, let's be honest, he's a terrible unit.
Well, he was terrible unit. Now his NVA, sorry, NVA plus is kind of in line with what we currently have. It's not Hyo, definitely not, but he's not bad by any sense of the word. I think anyway. If we look at his kit, though, well, TMR is TMR. I'm not going to talk too much about it. Besides the fact that he's a dual wielder, so his STMR is a sword with three different killer at 50%, so it's pretty nice that you can use on literally anyone. His categories, sadly, are a little lackluster. He's only fire and dark, and then elite soldiers and sword masters. Thankfully, sword masters is very versatile, but that's it. Now, in terms of, well, the vision card is, an old flavor vision card with killers. He doesn't have an EX ability because he's not a NV plus unit. He's an NV8 plus. In terms of his kit, we're just going to go over it really quickly. So EX1, he has the 500% LB damage. EX2, he has a 200% amplify for himself and a friend for fire and dark. Um, he also has 150 fire amplify for himself on another ability, just out there. He has, the classic breaker kit because he was used as a breaker. Um, he has some tag chaining here. I think all his damage besides these are tag chains. Yeah, he's got some things that are really worth talking about, but this one here is his big attack, which is locked to fire, and it's Oriole Ray, um, which is that 30 hit chain that you can never chain with somebody else, like if you dual cast it. But this one's a tag chain, so you don't have to worry about it. And he's only going to cast it once when dual wielding, but that's a free 30 hit to your chain, which is kind of nice. And then on his cooldown ability, um, he has a 89% defense and spirit break, 180 imperil to both his elements, 50% imperil to some weapons. Basically, I guess sword and spear are the most relevant ones there. And there's also amplify for fire and dark for everyone at 100%. So, as you pointed out, he's not that great, but still, he does some stuff. This doesn't look too strong now, but when we look at the rest of
Well,
the kit, it becomes better.
the weapon impel and the brakes are not cooldown for one turn, so they're not going to benefit him. He's only going to be he'd be using that skill, and then you'd be doing damage with somebody else.
You mean because the cooldown is a 6 turn, but it's a 5 turn break,
No, it's only a one turn break. Look,
huh?
no, sorry, I'm reading that wrong.
Yeah, I was very confused for a second.
Come on, it's 6 in the morning here.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't go to sleep yet. But thank you
I,
for
I,
being here.
I did go to sleep. I slept
Okay, so you took a
for about
nap.
3 or 4 hours. Yeah,
Yeah, a
that's all.
night
That's,
nap.
that's all I need. Like I said, I'm a machine.
I feel you though. I'm just the same. Like I go to bed at 4 a.m., wake up at 7, and then take naps during the day.
Yeah, because as everyone knows, I'm an owl bear of legend.
All right, now for the rest of his kit, nothing too out of this world. The usual. There's no modifier buff to his chaining ability. He does, yeah, he does have the 800 percent chain cap for all dual wielders. He's got some chain speed, and then here, oh yeah, sorry, he does have. So that's his Oriole Ray skill here. So it was 1,000 modifier, now it's 4,000 with this, but that's not all. If you call in the next 25 minutes, he's going to get an extra modifier. He's got some unlockable abilities that will be unlocked with his LB. We're going to look at the LB now. So he's an SLB unit, and when you use his I don't like the design for that, I will be very honest, because for full potential, you want to use the SLB first, and then his base LB will be dealing the damage. So what happens is when he uses his SLB, he's going to gain 3 stacks of 8 and heal a little bit over 3 turns. Gain a modifier buff to his chaining ability for 3 turns, so that brings it up to 12,000 times, which is pretty good for a tag chaining ability. That's extremely good. He's going to unlock these skills for only 2 turns, so I guess you have to cast them right after or they are gone. And then he gets a modifier buff by 500 times to his regular LB. So 500 times to his regular LB brings it to 1,400 times, and then that's 1,500 with the the first 5 turns buff that we have. Unfortunately, we're already at turn 4 when we like the very earliest we could use this. And if you want to use his modifier buff from the cooldown, then you're gonna have to wait another extra turn. But it would bring it to 1620 though, instead of 1500, which is a little higher than some other units. So for an NVA plus, quite interesting. But I still don't think it's worth it. What do you think of that mechanic, like forcing to use the SLB for some value,
It's seriously junky, isn't it?
right? Like
I mean, even just looking at that, you're thinking to yourself, "Do I really want to use this unit?"
exactly, it's tedious. Like he's strong, but not worth it in my opinion. That's the thing. Like if you have him, by all means, if you want to use him, go ahead. But I don't encourage. Like if you want to chase something this
No,
banner,
I mean, where's the usefulness going to come in? The only thing, I mean, it's like maybe dark visions. That's probably the only place where you might get a decent use out of the chain.
well, I even then, because I mean you might want to kill another turn earlier because the boss is going to go ham on turn 4, for example, or you only have, you're bringing an omni cover tank who can only cover, once, and then the turn you really want omni cover is turn 2 and then turn 4. So you already use the omni cover on turn 2, and then you don't want to have to endure turn 4. So he's kind of a sitting duck because you want to um, use everything to make him at the very strongest for dark vision. So it's kind of unfortunate that turn 5 would be the very earliest he can go. And
Yeah.
that's if you have
I
him
think I'm
EX3.
gonna probably gonna stick with my initial description. He's a terrible unit.
Okay, fine. I guess I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change my originally warm and accepting answer to you're right. It's crap. He does
I
have
mean,
some.
I thought these awakenings were supposed to improve units.
Well, it is still an improvement because before he had the very same design, just it was a 200 times modifier instead of being a 500 times.
I guess they've improved them from extremely terrible, just as terrible.
No, they've improved it from absolutely terrible to kind of useful if you want to like. No, sorry, improved from terrible to tedious. There you go.
Yeah, kind of useful if you want a headache.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But after you use this though for 3 turns, his tag chain at 30 hits, kind of kind of nice. But that's about it. And like even maybe on tag locked content, you might want to use it. I don't know. Like, nah, nah, that's a skip. Don't go for him. That's an absolute skip. And if you were one of the lucky people who went to the event and got him, great, good for you. Now put him on the bench where he belongs. Um, other than that,
I don't think he ever got off.
yeah, that's fair actually. Well, like most of those like premium units, we don't see much of them, do we? Um, there was Lauren, um, Carlette, and who was the other one? There was another one as well that I forgot. Because we don't see the Medina. We don't see them a lot on JP because those were like premium units. You needed to pay money to get those special tickets. Like, if you're, I don't know if you've ever bought something with money in global. Have you?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I will then continue my explanation as if you didn't know.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
So when you buy something, what happens is you get like you gain some points for the purchase, like for how much money you put in, and when you reach a certain
yeah,
threshold, you get that special ticket. Well, the same thing existed on GP. It's just that instead of being just a regular EX ticket, what you got was a ticket to go get either Mediana, Lauren, or Carlette, and they added Sylvie to that, and Samurai Chizuru not too long ago, and those units were, I guess, good on release, but not good for the price they were being sold at. And this unit, for being locked to going to a specific event, was okay, I guess, but not worth the trouble of using and going to get. So, see, I guess like limited unit like that shouldn't be too strong either. Otherwise, it kind of creates um, frustration towards the player, but like in the player base towards whoever got them, I guess.
yeah.
Hmm. But that's it for the new units. Now, the only thing I will have other than that is this, so feel free to translate your screen if you want to, but otherwise, what I can tell you is we're getting a story event, which is probably going to be the very same story event um, that we had on Global when that unit released. And then there's this here, which is probably going to be the Pearl stage for both NVA Dwayne and Hio as well. And that's all we're getting, unfortunately, for this week. So keep, if you get Hio, by all means, go and get better scores into your road to glory. And otherwise, keep rating FF8 and catch up on events you haven't done yet. I think it's perfect time when there's not much happening and we got strong units. That pesky grace of light, if ever you haven't done it, go do it.
Yeah.
You've completed
I've,
it, right?
yeah, I've done this like yeah.
Okay. And what tip would you have to give to anyone who's watching the video right now who hasn't done it?
Um, don't die.
Yeah, that's a good one. And
Have a look at some of Kojimaro's videos because he does a few for that trial, different setups, etc. And see
yes,
which one might suit you.
yeah, definitely. And even if you don't understand Japanese and what he writes on the screen, if you're copying the gear he has and copying the action he's taking, you'll make it. And well, not for Grace of Light because Grace of Light is filled with RNG, but keep trying until it works. And it feels weird to say, but it's one of those trials where on the video you're going to be following. The person's not going to die on turn two, or sorry, not going to die on turn three, and you're going to get completely wiped, and you won't know why. So just reload, well, just start the fight over and try it again, and you might get a different outcome because it depends on whether the petrification lands, the confused gets cured, who gets berserked. There's so many different factors that all can't be really controlled. So, you know,
I think the key thing for the first wave is you need auto med on your passive provoker.
yes, you need to have auto med, and you also need to have Lakshmi synergy on your tank in order to remove the petrification on whoever might have been affected on the turn with the unresistible petrify. Because it's only 30%, but it might stick on some people, and so long as it doesn't stick on your tank, you're fine, and he's gonna cure them after.
And you basically need to kill it by turn 7 because turn 7 is really, really hard to get past.
I mean, if ever she survives until turn 7, you deserve to die.
Very nice, yeah. But it's like you say about the RNG. You know what I mean? Even after my team was set up right and geared correctly, it still took me a couple of hours to do it just because of the RNG.
It is pretty frustrating, I will say. Like even myself, I'm not a fan of the design of this one. Kind of like all the RNG that was involved in was it Shinryu back in the day? Um, Scorn of Shinryu was pretty frustrating because of the RNG. Like you had to pray that he wouldn't use too many claws or something. There was an AOE, I think, uncoverable physical attack. Yeah, I think he was pretty annoying because of stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully, hopefully it goes well if ever you try that trial, and if it doesn't, remember to be patient. Give yourself time. It's not your fault. They are really annoying, and I can't wait to see what they do with the True Grace trial when when that releases for this one.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's going to be ridiculous.
yep, that's gonna be another
Sure,
one I'm
sure,
gonna avoid for months.
surely they're going to have to rethink something on that.
Oh, I sure hope so, but they haven't really changed any of the earlier fights in those. Like, there's been no change to Siren, no change to Kokuryu, no change to even Leviathan, no change to there's been no change to the others. So
But to be fair though, those didn't really have anything like that was just undefendable.
no, well, no, nothing was undefeatable. But Leviathan was really annoying though, and still is.
Yeah,
But like at least now the water trial is not that bad anymore because the light trial is there to make it look easy.
yeah. The water trial's in the rearview mirror now.
It's like it used to be the one I didn't want to do because of those like you need to bring a source of ice damage. I would always forget, and sadly it's on the third fight that you need to use, and then if you make it there and you don't have ice damage, you can't do anything. So you just have to start over.
Well, if you just put Antarctic wind in your items, you'll be fine.
Yes, and that's what I've done now that I saw Kojimaru doing that in one of his videos. Because before, I would always make sure I had someone who was able to at least cast Blizzard from an Esper or had ice damage in the kit. Um, and yeah, I had to cancel my fight like at least 5 times because I forgot something like that.
I mean, now, like Hayo's got you with your feet up in that fight now.
Oh hell yeah! With I just can't wait to try it. I'm gonna like that's gonna be one of the first things I try. I think tomorrow because I'm not gonna go and try that tonight. Even if I pull him tonight, I'm not gonna go and bash my head against Leviathan for fun. I'll keep that for tomorrow. But that's gonna be one of the first things I do when I sit down and play FFBE. Is I'll try to bring Hyo to that fight and see if he can like go through the mitigations, and if he can't, how easy he's making it.
Yeah, well, I need to get him on step 1 or 2 because I'm poor.
Well, I wish you all the best. I bless your polls. And to everybody else who's watching as well, I hope you get them on the first step or two. However deep you decide on going is on you, but I think he's worth your lapis. You got my blessing to pull him. Good luck on your polls. Good luck on my polls. And anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, this for anyone who's going to actually read the story from the story event, it's actually quite good.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, by all means, I think you can find it. I think on the global version, right?
Yeah,
We probably had someone that transliterated it or something. And if not, we'll use your screen translator and enjoy it.
yeah,
All right.
and just wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Oh my goodness, you're right. I completely forgot that was supposed to be your Christmas video. Well, and weren't we supposed to sing something like "All I Want for Christmas"? Oh, yes, you're right. No, we were. I
No,
forgot.
you.
So you don't want to sing "All I Want for Christmas is Hyo" with me?
No. You can do that if you want.
All right, I'll just need to go and get the lyrics of that song, change everything to make it more FFBE themed,
No,
record
no,
it.
just you can just get away with singing that line. That's it.
All right, that's how I'm gonna end the video then. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me again, Beardeh, and we'll see you in
Oh,
the next video.
and thanks to our data miner for getting this data out very quickly, Mister
Yes,
Mister Yeti.
he's working very hard in the mines, and we really appreciate it. And
Indeed.
I think he is a Mariah Carey fan, so I think all he wants for Christmas is this. So goodbye, everyone, and all I want for Christmas is you.
Wow, that was amazing.
Well, thank you. Goodbye,
Yep.
everyone.
See you later, guys.